It's that time again, time for my Big 12 rankings and weekly matchup show, in which I rank the teams in the Big 12 every week from 12 to 1, and I will highlight the November 7th Big 12 games. Just a reminder too, my guest today on the show will be Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy. He's coming up later. At number 12 on my rankings, the Baylor Bears, and for once I'm not going to dog Baylor, okay, because they improved. Oh yeah, they got beat. That was inevitable. But they outscored Nebraska 10-0 in the second half and only lose by 10 points. So I give them an A for effort. At number 11, the Colorado Buffaloes, and the Dan Hawkins watch is on. Will Colorado fire him? Or will they save money and keep him? That's the big question. Colorado, they just keep losing and losing and losing. At number 10, we're going to go Iowa State, who came back down to earth after losing and losing big at Texas A&M. Up next for Iowa State, a home showdown against Oklahoma State. That won't be easy. At number 9, the Missouri Tigers, who net victory number 1 in the Big 12 after going to Boulder, Colorado and jumping all over the Buffaloes. As Missouri, well, they're at 1-3 in the Big 12, but their last 4 games actually look winnable. Could the Tigers get to 5-3 and somehow win the Big 12 North? It's not out of the realm of possibility. At number 8, the Kansas Jayhawks, and reality and the Big 12 championship do not go hand in hand in Jayhawk country. Kansas loses their 3rd straight game. This time they lose big against a 3rd-string quarterback in Lubbock. Up next for Kansas, it's the Sunflower State Showdown at Kansas State. At number 7, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, back on the winning track after a nice start in Waco against Baylor. Then they have to hold on for dear life to win the game. You can question Nebraska's offense, but don't dare question that defense. Jared Crick, he lived in the Baylor backfield this past Saturday. At number 6, Texas A&M, who's now just 1 victory away from becoming bowl eligible, and they'll probably get it when they play at Colorado. So A&M coming off a win over Iowa State, and remember, it's a pretty young Aggie team. Next year could be the year that A&M moves up another level. We'll have to wait and see. At number 5, Kansas State, who got off to a horrible start in Norman against the Sooners, a game I attended, but Kansas State given to Bill Snyder, who did not see his team just lie down dead. They fought hard. They were able to score against an Oklahoma defense that had pretty much shut down both Texas and Kansas. K-State moved the ball against Oklahoma and scored points. It wasn't enough, but maybe it's a sign of the future that K-State could be on their way back. Not this year, but maybe next year or the year after that. Snyder has them going in the right direction, though. At number 4, Texas Tech. They don't have Steven Sheffield. They don't have Taylor Potts at quarterback. No problem. They go to their 3rd-string quarterback, and they still win and still win big in conference play. You can call Tech a heckle and jive team, but you better call them an explosive offense. They still have that in West Texas. And here comes number 3. That's right, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and with me is the head coach of Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy. Coach Gundy, thanks for joining us. And first, I have to ask you, your team pretty much stunk up the joint against Texas, turning the ball over 5 times. You guys didn't stand a chance in the game. How does that make you feel?
Makes me want to puke.
Well, I can understand that. Yeah, it would make you sick to your stomach. Zach Robinson, he's already getting maligned. He's already getting butchered. He threw 4 interceptions. 2 of those returned for a touchdown against that Longhorn defense. Your thoughts on Zach Robinson as far as the type of person that he is? You know, tell us, all that he does for Oklahoma State.
Here's all that kid did. He goes to class. He's respectful to the media. He's respectful to the public. And he's a good kid. And he's not a professional athlete. And he doesn't deserve to be kicked when he's down.
Okay. Don't get so mad at me, Coach Gundy. I mean, I can understand, okay? You don't have to get quite that angry. But, speaking of angry, there are a lot of people coming after you because of the fact that they're really questioning your character, questioning your age. Some people even have called you a kid because of your maturity or lack of. Can we come after you if we have anything on our mind?
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40! I'm not a kid!
well established. And I hate to yank you to the future, Coach Gundy, but you still have the Bedlam matchup coming up the week of Thanksgiving. You know, you guys don't have a chance at all of winning that game, do you?
Are you kidding me?
Okay, because I thought I heard some of your assistant coaches and players saying that you guys didn't have a chance.
Get your facts straight.
Okay, I will get my facts straight. Hey, Coach Gundy, before we leave, I'll go ahead and let you talk about anything you want to talk about, okay? The floor is open for you.
That's all I got to say.
Again, head coach Mike Gundy, who took time out of his busy schedule to be a part of the weekly matchup show. Hey, I promise you, Mike Gundy, and I did not fail to deliver. Seriously, Oklahoma State, they held Texas to about 250 yards of total offense. The defense actually did its part against the Longhorns, but it was the Texas defense that made life a nightmare for Zach Robinson, the worst game that he's played in his collegiate career. We mentioned the 4 interceptions. Oklahoma State trying to get to that next level, but they cannot get over the Longhorn hump, and Oklahoma State loses a bunch of talent after this year, so it may be a long while before Oklahoma State has a decent chance to beat those guys from Austin. At number 2, the Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners have responded well since the Texas loss. First, they blow out Kansas, and then the homecoming victory Halloween night over Kansas State. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. It turned out to be a pretty good game because Kansas State made adjustments and Oklahoma could not do much in quarters 2 and 3. But when they needed to make big plays the most, they did. And Landry Jones is looking more and more comfortable. The offensive line's coming along. And also Ryan Broyles, good to have him back. And also DeJuan Miller, the other go-to receiver for Oklahoma, he played brilliant as well. So Oklahoma moving on up. But they're not going to move past number 1, and that's because Texas is the number 1 team in the Big 12 in my rankings. As a matter of fact, go ahead, it's over, okay? The Big 12 is over, the South is over, the Big 12 title is wrapped up, the Longhorns have it. As a matter of fact, Texas, barring some unforeseen event, is going to play in the national championship. The only question is, who will they play? Texas, they got the job done on the road. Again, it wasn't a stellar offensive performance, but when you have that defense that Texas has, you don't have to play well on offense. You just can't play terrible, and Texas's defense has been outstanding, especially that secondary, which returned everybody from last year's squad. Texas, wow, what a performance they had. Now talking about the matchups, and this week, Oklahoma State, they travel to Ames, Iowa to play Iowa State. How do you get fired up to play in Ames, Iowa? It's out in the middle of nowhere. Of course, Iowa basically might as well be in the middle of nowhere. But basically, you're going to be playing in a stadium that might as well resemble a parking lot. There's not any buildings really around it. It's not one of the more attractive cities in the Big 12, Ames, Iowa. Are you kidding me? And Oklahoma State has to play there after losing their biggest game of the year. How does Oklahoma State get up for this game? I really think it's going to be hard for them to get up for this game. I think they'll win, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I've got Oklahoma State winning by 10 points at 31-21. Remember, Iowa State has the number 1 rushing offense in the Big 12, so Oklahoma State, their defense better be ready to play. Other matchups, Texas A&M at Colorado. 2 teams going in 2 different directions. Colorado continues to go down. They're going to go down even more as A&M. They're on their way up. A&M, remember, they need to win this game to get to bowl eligibility. Other matchups, Oklahoma at Nebraska. That is the Big 12 game of the week. To get my analysis and prediction on that game, make sure to check out the weekly matchup show, which is also located on this very page. The Battle of the Sunflower State, Kansas at Kansas State. If you were to ask me in September who's going to win this game, I'd say Kansas, and Kansas convincingly, but things have changed. Kansas State, now they look like the better team. They're going to be playing in Manhattan. Kansas State, with Bill Snyder at the helm, I think they will beat Kansas, who has struggled so far these last few weeks. And then looking at another matchup in the Big 12 Conference, Baylor at Missouri. Again, I think Missouri has a favorable enough schedule to where they're going to have a decent shot at winning these last 4 games. So if they can get to 5-3, they can throw a wrinkle in the Big 12 North. And Baylor, let's just simply put it, they stink. They're not going to win. Missouri to win this game handily. Texas Tech, by the way, is not in action. The Texas Longhorns are in action, but it is a non-conference game against Central Florida. Central Florida is probably good enough to win Conference USA, but they're not good enough to even be on the same field with the Longhorns, Texas, to win that one. So those are my weekly Big 12 matchup predictions. That's my preview. We'll do it again next week at this time. So long for now.